Alfa Romeo have always built very special cars. The Stelvio QV is still one of my favorite SUVs. Just like this one, it's also named after a mountain pass, and incidentally, we are currently at one of South Africa's most iconic mountain passes, Baines Kloof Pass. Now, this one over here is more of a mass-produced model, and although it's called the Speciale, it's less Magnus Opus and more Britney Spears. Just like a typical pop star, this car is beautiful. Starting with the lights in front, which are LEDs, but the latest in matrix LED technology, done by a company called Mirelli. The bumper and the grille are all integrated into the front of the car, and although the proportions might seem odd to some, to me, it's an absolutely beautiful car. The maximum wheel size is 20 inches, which this car comes spec'd with. And of course, it's the Alfa Romeo telephone dial units, which are iconic and another homage to Alfas of old. Speaking of homages, the lines and cuts and streaks across the car are all design language that have been spoken throughout the Alfa Romeo history, and now continue in the Tonale. At the back, once again, the lights paint a picture on their electric boot lid. And overall, the dimensions of the car start to make much more sense the more time I spend with it. Stepping inside the Alfa Romeo Tonale is, as to be expected, a typical Alfa Romeo occasion, starting with the steering wheel over here, perfectly proportioned, lovely to hold, and you've got a start button on board the steering wheel with all your controls. Speaking of controls, you can control the dashboard as well from this button over here, and the dashboard is configurable, but I gotta say, Audi does it slightly better with more configurable options, although this is a huge step up for Alfa dashes. Another big step up is this infotainment system over here, all 10.25 inches of it, and it is very fast to navigate. It's a huge upgrade from what Alfa have been using before, and the speed that you can go from menu to menu is something other manufacturers can learn from. The touches, and this is typical motoring journalist stuff, feel very, very good. The materials feel high quality, and again brings forth that typical Alfa Romeo occasion. The seats, although firm, are very, very comfortable and not overly bolstered. Kind of suits this kind of car. You've also got the Alfa motif over here, and you can have the option of colored stitching as well. This one's got the optional Harman Kardon sound system, which, like me, if you want to test it out, I did, and listen to the 1997 smash hit by Britney Spears, Hit Me One More Time, or Hit Me Baby One More Time, something like that. Either way, it's time for me to hit the road. A mountain pass and an Alfa Romeo. What more could one ask for? Time to use these brushed aluminium paddle shifts over here that extend all the way, which makes it easy to grab the next gear. Oh, just wonderful to use. Stick it into D mode, which I can only assume stands for dynamic, and immediately you notice that the DNA of the Alfa Romeo brand, with a 50-50 weight distribution and very, very good handling, shines through. On this very narrow Baines Kloof, I'm able to place the car exactly where I want to. But Alfas have already known for their very fast steering ratio, and this one is no different. It's got the 20-inch wheels, which might be a little bit bumpy, so you could go for the 19s, but that's not what this car's about. This car's not about setting lap records at the Nürburgring or going around corners as fast as possible. Not at all. No, no, no. This car is about being a volume seller for Alfa Romeo. And it's supposed to eventually get you or me into one of their other models later on. The fact that this car's got the 1.5 litre hybrid engine now starts to make a little bit more sense. You see, this engine actually can run in electric mode only. It uses, according to the claims, less than 6 litres per 100. I'm getting 7 over here quite easily. It drives smoothly and comfortably and feels like a good, solid SUV that can compete with its rivals like the BMW X1. There is one complaint though, and that might be me. I have been trying for the last 15 minutes to get the rev counter to show up on the screen over here. And I must be missing something because I just can't get it going. But it is an intuitive infotainment system to use, but I've got to say this dash is taking a little bit of getting used to. Even though this is based on a Jeep chassis, it still feels very, very Alfa Romeo. But at the same time, it also isn't something that's heavily skewed towards performance. Leave the performance to the Giulia and the Stelvio. Give me the Tonale to go to work and back. There is a lot to like about the Tonale. And pricing-wise and spec-wise, it competes favorably with the X1 and Q3. And remember, it's hybrid, so you save fuel too. The question is, though, is this going to be a one-hit wonder? I think it might just go platinum.
Welcome back to Ignition GT. With its eye-catching looks and smooth yet powerful hybrid powertrain, the Tonale presents a unique proposition in the compact SUV segment. But how does it stack up against formidable rivals like the VW Tiguan and premium offerings like the BMW X1? Gents, what do you think? I mean, this thing looks the part.
You just have to look at that, that light signature, and it just like sort of gets you going.
Yeah, right? It's almost like the old school Alphas that you're excited about.
Yeah. And I mean, the back light signature as well, where it sort of goes right the width of the car, gives it that nice sort of, width, makes it look sort of broad, and that crease down just below the waistline there, that GT line. I mean, it just looks the part.
Yeah, very, very true. But you automatically look at it and think performance.
Yeah, you do.
But now, it's not necessarily a performance vehicle because power figures aren't really up there, but it's actually more of a compact SUV power figures. But what were your initial driving impressions of the vehicle, gents?
So, yeah, I must say that, I mean, it says 118 kilowatts, including the 48 volt electric engine, with a mix. But it felt quicker to me.
Okay.
Obviously we were down at the coast, but yeah, it felt quick and the handling was superb. Putti went past me like I was standing still, like we were like sort of, stationary. So we didn't sort of get the handling quite as, as up to speed as he did.
I got it. Like I said, I still don't care about what drives it. If it gets to 120, the beauty is you can go up and down the mountain pass at 120.
100%.
That matters to me.
And dynamically, it sounds like this thing is
sensational. Sensational. I think it deserves a bigger engine.
Absolutely, for sure.
Okay.
Maybe I can start caring about the powertrain now.
Another important stuff now. Practical-wise, does it work? Is it practical? Does it have the space for somebody who wants a car of that nature?
I don't think you could compare it with your RAV4s or whatever. This is a chic wallet. It's a handbag, So if you're going to carry things, probably a nice laptop, it'll cover those.
It's got an electronic tailgate.
Okay.
So, it can open it up for your laptop. But yeah, look, I think it's got a fair size boot, and it's not massive in the in the rear, but it's I think it's comfortable enough.
Okay.
I wouldn't buy it for practicality. I'll buy it for the looks, in red or blue.
I agree with
Putti
totally. I mean, this is a car that is, has got the Alfisti hot again.
Okay.
I mean,
not just the Alfisti. I think it's so gorgeous. It can actually bring a new membership to the Alfisti.
More.
It is that gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that totally.
And then pricing-wise now, because obviously we know that cars are expensive nowadays.
Yeah.
What are we talking in terms of money here?
Starts off at 739 for the Tonale.
Okay.
And then goes up to over 800 for the Veloce.
Okay.
And the Speciale is 799, 900. So it's you know, you need a bit of a fatter wallet to buy it. But you know, like Puji says, you know, the guys that want to buy it will buy it.
Yes.
Taste is expensive.
That's the thing. Because if you're going to buy a Gucci bag or a Fendi or something, you're going to spend.
No, you're going to stop outside the club or the restaurant.
Yeah.
You're going to look good.
Yeah. And do you think they're going to sell?
I think so. I think it will outsell or sell better than the Stelvio and the other. You know Alfa.
Yeah. Plus, you know, you're gonna attract that the greener buyers because of, you know, it's got the hybrid.
100%.